Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Wilderness Attitude Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Waddell. Appreciate you downloading and subscribing to give us a listen. Really appreciate that. Hope everybody's having a great day. Kick back and enjoy the show. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to the Wilderness Attitude Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Waddell. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hope everybody's doing well. We're on the tail end of, I guess this last Sunday was the tail end of elk archery for us. So I did not get anything. I did take a Hail Mary shot in closing light Sunday night at 107 yards at a bull and just shot under him. And I thought if he came back out of the trees and gave me another chance that I might actually get it done, but it didn't work out for the best. It worked out for the best for him, not for me. But anyway, a little bit of sadness wrapped around that, not getting an elk this year, but I had a lot of amazing encounters. My hunting was super exciting, and it was a great time. So this week we're embarking on the last week of bear hunting. So I've been doing that day and night, every morning, every night. I had a chance this morning on a good little bear, but I don't think there was enough fur on that bear to make a suitcase. So he got a pass this morning. But without further ado, you can see we have Brittney Glaze here with us. She's patiently waiting for me to get through my opening. Hello. And Brittney, thanks for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me. I was excited when y'all asked.
Well, we appreciate you taking our offer. Me and Kate have been following you on Instagram for a little while here and just kind of seeing what you were doing, and we've been reaching out trying to find some people that we find interesting and people that we believe in and people that just kind of have some of the same kind of foundations that we do, and that we want to kind of get more people to know who you are. And so, right off the bat, you got God, family, hunting, fishing. I mean, your order is absolutely correct, and as it should, the way it should be. And it's just, it really kind of hit me good when I was looking through your Instagram and I saw that you got your first deer, or I guess your first doe, right? Is that correct?
Bow, yeah.
With a bow, yeah. And that's just super cool. I remember that first deer with my bow. I was rattled, man. Like I was buck fever big time, and I'd been chasing this big buck for like 3 years, and we'd played a few chess games with each other, and he kept winning, and then finally my day came where I got the checkmate. And I tell people all the time, like I drew and I had him, and there was a certain point after I drew that I don't even remember my shot sequence. I don't even remember picking a spot on the deer to shoot. I don't remember any of that. It's like a blackout moment for me. I don't know if I was about to pass out or what.
I killed my first bow buck a couple years ago, and I had to draw back when he was I think 80 yards out, if I remember correctly, because we were in the wide open. Mm-hmm. And I don't pull back a lot of weight, and I'm pretty weak in my arms, so I do a lot of movement. And so I had to wait for him to be behind a tree when I pulled back. So I had to wait, I think it was like a minute and 50 something seconds before I could actually shoot, before he got close enough. Uh-huh. And shaking, and I'm like, do not let the bow down.
Right.
Freaking out. And then like you said, I remember aiming, but at the same time I don't remember anything else after that or before that, right. Because I just remember telling myself, do not let this bow go.
Right.
And he actually came all the way up to 20 yards, which was nice, and I got a perfect shot. And I had been bow hunting for a couple of years and didn't have any luck. Nothing ever
Mm-hmm.
came in close enough. And then instead of, because most people kill a doe first or whatever, and I've
Right.
killed hogs, so I knew, what it felt like to bow hunt, but not deer until then. And so the other night I was finally able to put a doe down too to fill the freezer.
Right.
I was excited.
That is cool. It's a lot of fun. It doesn't matter. I mean, like a lot of people are like, well, I'm not a trophy hunter, right? And I mean, this could be a long discussion, but I am a trophy hunter because I weigh how much meat I put in my freezer at the end because that's a trophy to me. It doesn't matter what it is, you know. I think that if you hunt, whether you hunt for meat or you hunt for racks or you hunt for anything, you're a trophy hunter. I mean, how many people hold up a big loin and say, "Look at that,
Yeah.
that's sweet," right? And so
He is more of a trophy because it's
yeah,
feeding
I
me
think
and my.
so. I think so. I think it's a good one. But we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves. Let's back up just a little bit. Now, you were born and raised in Georgia. You're 28 years old.
Yes.
Um, Tell us a little bit about yourself growing up.
Well, growing up, I lived more in what you'd call the city, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
in Gwinnett County. And I lived on the same street as my granny and papa and my aunt and uncle, and everybody lived within a few houses of each other. And
That's
it was all,
cool.
the town wasn't as big as it is today, but when we started moving away from each other, we, kind of all separated. But growing up, being down the street from my granny and papa, we also had a lake house in North Georgia, which we still have today. And they taught me how to fish when I was like, I don't know, old enough to hold a fishing pole. So probably 2 years old or so. Me and Granny loved cane fishing, like cane pole fishing. Just she's got brim off of her little dock, and you can catch them all day long. We'd go catfishing at night, and my papa would, that he would get them ready and fry them up for everybody at night. So it was always fun. Um, I just always loved being outside. My mom tried to dress me up and make me cute and do my hair and that, and I enjoyed that, but I also enjoyed getting muddy and bringing home frogs and lizards and random stuff too. So
Right.
I was always the odd one. But I didn't start hunting until later. My grandfather did hunt, but he passed away when I was 10, so I never got to go with him. And in high school, I had to move, which was where the area we're in now. And a lot of the friends that I went to school with, guys that I dated, everyone was hunting. And so I was interested in going because I love the outdoors.
Right.
And so I went with them. My dad, he used to hunt when he was little, but he hadn't hunted since then. So he just told me, go with friends because I don't know what I'm doing. And I
At least
did, and
he's
I felt
honest.
I sat with people hunting for I guess a couple of years before I started borrowing guns and going myself, and I just absolutely loved it. I mean, the excitement they got when a deer came out or a hog came out, because I went hunting for the first time in Dublin, Georgia, and there's a ton of hogs down there, and that was a lot of fun. And it's like I borrowed a gun for a couple of years after that, and I never had any luck, or I hunted somewhere where they had rules, and I couldn't tell you how many inches were on a deer or this or that.
Right.
So I was always scared to shoot anything, so I never did. And then when I turned 21, I went and bought my first rifle for myself at Bass Pro. They had them on sale, and bought it on a Monday. That Friday, I went hunting and killed my first deer on that like Friday afternoon. So,
Awesome.
and then I was like addicted.
Yeah. Right. Well, and I mean, you can thank your grandma and grandpa for all of this. I
Oh, yeah.
mean, without them letting you be a kid and letting you explore, like you're saying, catching frogs and doing different stuff and just being a kid and not trying to be something you weren't, and just showing you some of that love and respect in the wilderness. And I've
Oh,
never cane fish pole. I've never cane pole fished. Let me say that
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
That's
I got it wrong earlier.
yeah.
I mean, you can get them for like $3 or $4 at Walmart, like the little bamboo sticks, and
You
because
still
it's just,
can?
oh yeah, yeah. I
Really?
just got one the other day.
I don't think I've ever seen one in Colorado. That must be a southern thing.
It probably is. I
Now
mean,
I'm gonna get done with this podcast. I'm going to Walmart. I'm gonna go check it out and be like, I want one of these. And see, he's probably gonna look at me and be like, boy, you ain't in the South no more. You're in Colorado.
yeah. I don't know if y'all have them out there. I don't know, but that was our favorite thing to do. And my granny actually taught me how to shoot too with a BB gun off the back porch. We would shoot squirrels and stuff, getting in the bird feeders and
Yeah.
cans or whatever we could shoot at. So I definitely thank her and my papa for showing me all that at a young age and having me outdoors all the time and enjoying it.
And so I would imagine that they were a huge influence on you too in your spiritual life then.
Yes, my whole family, especially my parents, kept us in church, and we went pretty much every Sunday and Wednesday nights. So I grew up in a Christian home. We're Baptist, and when we moved out to this way, we didn't really have a church that we could call home, but we would go here and there. And then my dad actually, he sings and plays guitar. And there's a nursing home out here who needed someone in their Sunday morning church to sing. So he's been doing that for about 10 years now.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure they enjoy that, right? They don't, and he's doing it at the old folks home, right? That's what you're saying? Yeah. So see,
yeah.
They don't get out much anymore, right? So I mean, that's pretty special when someone can show up and especially because you got to figure that those people grew up with probably in a small church and where they had that kind of thing and whatnot, and for them to still have that in their lives is probably pretty special.
Yeah, they appreciate it so much. They get excited when my dad walks in the door. He'll go over there sometimes during the week too, just to give them something new to do.
Right. Yeah, that's it is. That might be the most excitement of the week.
Yeah.
And if he's good and I'm sure they enjoy it. I'm sure they do a lot. So you bought this gun. You're 21 years old at Bass Pro, and now here's the irony that now you're a pro staff or ambassador for Bass Pro now, right?
I'm part of the pro team, is what they call it. So it's pretty much a brand ambassador for the She brand. It's their women's camouflage line. And it was literally a dream come true when all that came about. Because I remember I think I was in middle school when the Bass Pro was being built here in Atlanta. And I would go like on the weekends, literally like every Saturday I was in Bass Pro just looking at everything, thinking that there was new things every day. And I would see girls on posters and things in the store, and I'm like, I really want to do that, because that was during the same time when I started modeling too. So I'm like, how do I get into Bass Pro? Like, how do I do that? And so when they contacted me, I thought it was fake. Like, they contacted me, they're like, oh, we're Bass Pro, we'd like to speak to you. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like,
yeah, thinking one of your friends that works at Bass Pro is calling you, like, fake you out.
They invited me actually up to Charlotte. They were filming Christmas commercials, I think is what they were doing. And I went up there. I actually took my mom with me because I'm like, I don't know if this is legit or not. Like, I don't know who I'm meeting.
Right.
So I took my mom with me, and we walked into Dave & Buster's, and there was like Pigman, Teresa Vale, and quite a few others on the team. And I'm like, wow, this is the thing. Like, this is real.
This is legit. Wow.
So I got to spend the next day with them while they were filming commercials and hanging out with everyone. And they asked me to come on board, and I was super stoked and excited. And I've been on for a few years now. I absolutely love it.
Cool.
It's not a company, it's a family, and they
Yeah.
really are tight knit there, and I love that.
What uh, so then I know that Courtney Sweetser is on that she team too, right?
Yeah, yeah, she
And
is.
I'll tell you something that's really funny. I started following her when she had like a couple thousand followers. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'd seen something just running through Instagram on her suggestion stuff, right? And I saw something that she did on there. I think she was I think it was early when she was in a duck blind or something like that that I saw, and I thought that's a beautiful picture. And it wasn't even a picture of her. I just liked the picture, so I started following her. And it was like I was just telling my wife like a couple months ago. I'm like, check this out. Like I started following her and she had a couple thousand followers, and now she's almost at 100,000 followers. It's
I
just
know.
insane.
I don't know how these, I say girls, but there's a lot of guys who have it too, and I'm like, I don't know how you have all these followers. I guess I'm
Right?
behind on it. I mean, I have quite a few, but I feel like I've had the same amount for a few years now. But I
Yeah.
also have a different kind of following because whenever I went from modeling to hunting, I lost quite a few followers from the modeling world.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the ebb and flow of it all, right? And I don't think that followers defines who you are by any means.
Oh no.
Um, I think she's just a super genuine girl, and so are
Oh,
you. And I think that who else is a part of the She Outdoor team?
there's just three of us, so it's me, Courtney, and Junie from Just Junie.
That's right. Yeah. And that's all there needs to be. You guys do a great job, and I think that it could be oversaturated, and you don't need that either. Like you say, they keep it tight, they keep it family, and they keep it going. I think that's pretty cool. I The whole Bass Pro thing is pretty neat in my. I just can't get past that. That's where you go buy your first gun, and this is where you're a part
Yeah,
of, and and
I,
all this stuff. It's insane, the
well, I,
irony, but
to the grand opening of the museum, and so the next day we were just shopping around the store, and there's a huge poster of me in the women's camo, and I literally like brings me to tears. It like shocks me still every time, and people will send me Snapchat videos or pictures of, hey, I see you, because my picture's in a lot of the stores, and it's still like I still get choked up and like cry about it because I'm like, I still can't believe that that's me and I'm really working for them.
right. Yeah, it's crazy, but I'll tell you, I really I commend you for sticking to it. Like you were like, well, I want to do this and I want to try to figure this out, and maybe you got lucky, or maybe your pursuit paid off. But either way, now you're a part of a great company, a good organization, a good family, and you're representing a quality brand, and and then that's led you on to more exciting things to even continue from where you started in the modeling part to this, and now the Model Hunter TV um, that you started. That's it just keeps building. You're building the blocks to your legacy and your portfolio in a way too, I guess, right? But
Yeah.
tell us some more about that. That seems exciting.
Um, well, I I don't know if you knew about Destination Whitetail. I've been the
Hmm.
host of that show for quite a few years. Um, we were on Sportsman's and now we're on Pursuit.
Gotcha.
And a lot of um, people were moving to like online things, and so I wanted to do something of my own online because I do a lot with the cancer kids. So
Hmm.
I wanted to have a platform and a place where I can post all of their videos, because every time I hunt with a kid, I video the whole thing, not only just for me and their family to have, but I want them to feel like they can be on TV too, because they look up to me so
Yeah.
much and they think it's the coolest thing ever. So I started Model Hunter, and I thought about it for a couple of years of how I was going to do it, what I was going to do, and if I was going to do just the kids. And I kind of wanted it just to be the kids. And then I was like, well, I've been doing this for so long, and did come from modeling, and now I hunt and I can do both. And so I came up with Model Hunter, and I had partner Nikki was on there, and but now like I think it's gonna mainly focus on the kids the next season. And we have a lot already on there with the kids. I think pretty much half of our shows are the kids, because that's what I love the most. I'm most passionate about that. And it's really just, it is what it is. It can be 5 minutes long, or it can be an hour long. And it's,
Right.
We're out there fishing, hunting, taking road trips, just sitting by the fire talking. It's random stuff, and it's just, it is what it is, like in that moment.
Just that in the moment reality, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
So
Now, where were you? Where were you when you? Was there a certain place? Were you doing something, or something inspire you to where did this come from?
What
The model hunt. Yeah.
I don't really, like I said, I was actually bear hunting, not this past season, but last season. And I was sitting at my friend's house up in North Georgia. He's got quite a few bears. And it was me, Mark, and Hank. We were all sitting around, and Hank works for QVMA, so he was up there hunting too. And I told the guys, I'm like, y'all help me, like, come up with a name. I said, I want to do something, but I don't know if I want to do a show, or if I just want to do online videos, or like a vlog. Like, I was just trying to like figure out what it is I wanted to do. And so we were all talking about it, and he's like, I think you should do a show about your life. He's like, that's kind of cool that you went from a model to a hunter, and you're able to do both. And I was like, that's not cool. That's about me. I'm like, like, that's not very interesting. But he's like, no, it really is. And then he's like, you can tie in the kids and all that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess I can do that. I said, I guess it's interesting to other people, because it's what I live, so I don't find it too interesting about talking about myself. But if I can make it about somebody else, then that's the way I would go. And so we were sitting around for a couple of hours, just, I think we were watching football or something. And I'm like, what kind of name do I come up with? I said, I don't want it to be my name. I want it to be something different.
Yeah.
And so we came up with Model Hunter. Hank actually was like, well, you're a model and you're a hunter, so Model Hunter. And I'm like,
how hard could this be?
Like, it clicked, and I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And I was like, because not only can it be like the modeling that I do, but it can be a role model or anything like that. So it can roll
cool.
on. And that was right about the time when it was the same time I was talking to my producer, Jared, and he lives down in Statesboro, and we were all coming up with ideas of what to do and how to go about it, and names. We were spitting them off, and I sent a message to him, and I'm like, well, what do you think about Model Hunter? He's like, I think it sounds good. And I was like, all right, let's do it.
Right on. Now, what year was this that came about?
That was just this past.
Just the last year.
October, November.
So about a year ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And so did working with Hunting for a Cure, was that a piece of the inspiration for this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the shows that I already worked with before, I had told them about Hunting for the Cure, and wanted to do shows about it. At least do one, try to get something out there, and they would be interested. And then it was like they're like, I don't know if I want to do something so sad. And I'm like,
it's not
I get
sad.
it, but it's not sad, because you can make it, because our slogan there is to share a smile.
Right.
So that's what we're doing. That's our mission.
That's right.
You don't have to make it this sappy story, but I want to bring awareness to these kids and what's going on, and to show what Hunting for the Cure does, because we're sharing smiles, and we're helping them and making good memories. It doesn't have to be sad, but I don't know. You know how how networks are sometimes. So I was
Yeah.
trying to figure out a way to do the episodes of the kids. So that's where I came up with doing Model Hunter, to where it would be like me on the road hunting everywhere, and then also doing the hunts with the kids and being able to put them online
Right.
as a show.
And so, where can we find Model Hunter online?
You can find it on YouTube or on
Okay.
Model Hunter's Facebook. We always share them there.
Okay.
I think
Cool.
there's 4 or 5 episodes, and we're supposed to be putting one out, I think, Friday. As long as we
Okay.
can get our ducks in a row. It's been kind of hard, and I know Jared's so busy. He does other hunting shows and weddings and things like that. So, but he's been a good
Right.
friend of mine for about 8 years. So we have fun doing it.
It's a good guy to have in your corner, huh?
Huh?
He's a good guy to have in your corner.
Yeah, definitely. Jared's a great guy.
Is there a way we can follow Jared and some of his
Uh,
work?
yeah, it's called Broadstead Media. So
Okay.
everything is at Broadstead Media, and you can find
Okay.
that on Model Hunter's page too. Should be
Okay.
tagged.
Cool. Well, we'll drive the traffic through your website to get to his, right? That's the
Yeah.
idea. That'll work out good. So you you started your modeling career. Wait, I don't want to go there yet. I want to back up to the whole hunting for a cure. Right? I want one thing you mentioned in there is I think it's appropriate to make those videos and share this stuff, because it's not that you're trying to pull on the heartstrings of people, but you're trying to bring a vision and of reality and what we deal with, and that it's an everyday problem for everyday families everywhere around the world, and that it's and if you can share the smiles and you can share the memories that you're building and see the joy that you're creating for these young people, I think that's a special place, and I think that's a special place in your heart, because for what you've done with that organization, and then finding a way to outlet it through your Model Hunter, that's awesome, really, really awesome of you to do. Because like you say, you know how networks can be, right? So there's lots of this and that, and you can't do this, you can't show that, you can't say this, you can't say that, and but even a good friend of mine that does Gladiators Unleashed, he had put it together to go on Sportsman's and this and that, and but in the end, there was just these fine details that just didn't work out, and so now he's publishing it on YouTube, and it's amazing. It's great work, and I think that, like you say, a lot of people are going online and getting off of the TVs more, because you can get so much entertainment online now versus paying for your dish or your, all this stuff. I mean, how many channels do you watch on Dish Network, right? How many actual channels do you actually watch out of the 5
I have
billion channels they offer you?
I have Netflix. I don't even
Yeah.
have cable.
Well, that's why, right? I mean, even in my house, I mean, we have it, but I mean, at one point in time, we had 9 people in my house with all my children and my wife, and so we had to have quite a variety.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many times I wanted to call them up and be like, "Look, I'm done paying $150 a month for this. I only watch 4 channels.
Yeah.
I got Sportsman's Channel, I got Outdoor Channel, and ESPN, and whatever network airs the Broncos game that week. That's the only 4 channels out of the 500 that are on there that I ever watch. I'd like to order it up a la carte, but
Yeah.
um, but I'm proud of you for figuring out a way, and figuring out a way to get that where it needs to be and get it out to the people, because I think it's important. So thank you for doing that. I think it's cool.
Thank you. I mean, I wish there was more ways, but I feel like my platform on social media and with all the organizations I already work with and companies I work with, I try to incorporate hunting for the cure or the kids any way that I can, because that's my passion. I mean, I don't really think I probably know that I would quit hunting myself today if I could take them hunting every day. Like if I could hunt and fish with the kids every day for the rest of my life, I would be happy. I wouldn't
You,
wouldn't
yeah,
worry about going hunting myself anymore. Is
yeah.
it?
You know, I've got some kids that hunt, and but they're not as passionate as I am. Um, but last year I didn't get to punch a tag one last year, but I had a daughter that did, and I had a son that did, you know, some of that stuff. And it's like I had to, you know, people are like, oh, that sucks, you didn't tag, and I'm like, oh, I tagged, I punched a tag, just
Yeah.
wasn't mine. You know, I helped my children and I helped my friend, and it was an amazing season just helping others. And up until last year, I really had only hunted for myself. Um, and last year and this year has been awesome because I feel what you're saying is, I guess, is what I'm saying. You know that, yeah, helping other people hunt, right, and helping and seeing that joy and helping them learn and grow as people and or kids, and you know, man,
Yeah.
it's a cool feeling.
And when even if they don't shoot the animal, but when they see one for the first time, it's
Yeah,
like their excitement gets me more excited than anything. Like
true.
I just can't even explain it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, whether regardless of whether they get to punch a tag, watching their faces, watching their body language, watching the reaction, all of it. You know, I'm just kind of thinking back through right now, just thinking in my mind about Shayla's deer and Aiden's elk, and my son shot his cow tag 2 weeks after I had hip surgery, and so I couldn't get out of the truck.
Oh man.
And so, you know, I was there when he made the shot, but then he made a 325-yard shot on this cow and dropped her. And we
Wow.
had to go out there, but the pasture was muddy. And so I got out of the truck once and put my sticks in the ground, and I literally almost fell on my face because they just sunk in the pasture. And so I had to sit in the truck, and I remember recording a video and just crying because he was out there with his animal and I couldn't get there. And, you know, and he was so excited and jumping up and down, and, you know, and I was just, um, it was tough, but I'm just thinking about that. It was pretty cool.
That's
So
awesome.
I made a video. I made a video selfie of myself in the truck crying like a baby because I was so proud of him and I couldn't go over there and squeeze him. It was pretty.
No.
It was funny. But. So you also, I mean, you're pretty well rounded. I mean, you hunt with a bow, a gun. And obviously out there in Georgia, we don't have crossbow season here yet. You have to do that during rifle season, but and then
No.
you also hunt with a knife.
Yeah, I
What do
have.
you hunt with just a knife? Well, Rambo style or something or what?
Yeah, hog hunting down here is really big. And
Oh yeah.
so I was able to stab a hog with a knife one day. Um, we we usually have like dogs that'll bay them up, and then you have the way that we do it. Everybody does it different. They have their own way. But the way that we did it was we had bay dogs that went out and caught up with the hog and bait them up.
Hmm.
Then when they let you know, then we let the catch dogs go. We have two catch dogs, so one on each ear, and then once they're caught, we run in and somebody grabs the back legs, and I run in and stab it in the heart.
Okay, now that's like a 20-second version of this hunt. Like I want the whole thing.
Well,
I want give me the play by play, give me the feelings, the emotions. Give me more of that.
okay.
That's pretty cool.
What was unique about this one, it was all girls that were actually doing the hunt. We had guys there who were helping us and who owned the dogs and things, but all the dogs that we used were female. And me and my friend, we went in. She's the one who helped me. She grabbed the back legs. And so I've seen people do it. I worked at a hog hunting preserve for a couple of years, helped guide and all that stuff. And I watched multiple people come through, and I'm like, I want to do that. It's fun
Hmm.
because I love
Yeah.
hunting with the dogs. It's just,
Right.
I mean, trying to keep up with them is tough, but it's fun. It's exciting the whole time.
That's
But
cool.
so one day we had a hunter that was supposed to come in and didn't come in for whatever reason, and they were like, well, now's your chance. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, do you want to go out and hunt? And I'm like, yeah, I want to go. So last minute we went out, and
Was it morning, evening?
we went in the morning, I believe. But
So do you have to get up early?
no, you can
No?
actually hog hunt whenever.
Okay.
So it was like mid-morning, but it got so hot. I remember that. I mean, we're in Georgia, but it was just so hot.
What time of year is it?
I want to say it was fall. It's probably right around now, but
Okay.
it would be like 70 one day and then like 95 the next, and it would just so happen to be days where it was like getting really, really hot.
Right.
And I had a couple of friends of mine down there hunting as well. They were going to do night vision that night with ARs. And I was like, y'all can go stab one if you want to. And the guys were like, no, I ain't stabbing a hog. They were scared of them. I'm like,
Nice.
okay, well, I'll do it. And we get all ready, and I'm like super pumped. I'm like excited and nervous at the same time because I trust the dogs that we have because we use them all the time. But there's times when the hogs can get away, or, you know, an ear can get ripped off, or something can go wrong.
Things happen. Yeah.
So when you're going in, I'm like, what if something goes wrong? What if this thing like attacks me? I remember telling my mom, I texted her and told her I was going to go do it. And she was like, please be careful. She was like, I could have done without you telling me that you were going to do it. So she was worried all day. But so we let the dogs out. And
how many dogs do you let out in the first run? How many dogs go in the first group?
We do it typically around four to 6 dogs, depending on where we're hunting. And I believe we had at least 4 that morning. It's been years ago. I can't remember. I just got done telling you for anything. But I remember feeling like excited but nervous. And I'm like waiting and listening for them to bay up the hog. And they get one up within like 10, 15 minutes. It felt like seconds, but it was, 10 or 15 minutes. And I'm like, whoa, okay, so this is about to go down like already. And so we let the catch dogs go, and there's 2 of them.
How do you know they have one? How do you know they found one? Is it a change in their bark, or is
Change in their bark?
Okay.
We had one that would like bark when it got on a trail, and so you could hear them. And then once they bay them up, they all go off like at the same time, and they just kind of keep going and keep going. And then we let the catch dogs out, and they just go straight for them and like latch on and won't come off.
Okay, what kind of dogs are the ones that go tracking, and what kind of dogs are the catch it dogs?
Well, there's a mixture. We would use Catahoulas or hounds, or walkers sometimes we would have for the trailers and bayers. And then for catch dogs, most of the time it's a pit mix of some sort, or a bulldog or something.
That jaw strength is what you're looking for out of those guys. Just brute strength and jaw strength, right?
Oh, yeah.
So they don't let go.
We had a guy actually come in with like little, I think they're called feists or something. They're like little dogs, probably, I don't know, maybe 15-pound dogs, but they are like rough and mean, and they actually use them to hog hunt. And I'm like, that dog's gonna die, but it was the meanest dog ever. Whenever
it's like Jack Russell Terriers, right? I mean, they're just these little balls of freaking meanness, you know.
But that was interesting when they came out with those little things. But we used pit mix. I mean, most of our dogs were mixed anyways. They're all mutt. And one of them we actually found just roaming around. Somebody dropped it off and it was eating peanuts at a little peanut stand one day, and it was there for a couple of days. So we went back and got it, and she was one of the catch dogs that we used for my hog hunt, and she did
That's
great.
cool. Awesome.
It was like she was born for it. The dogs are they're either good at it or they're not. But so
Makes sense.
we get out there, and as we're running, because we're literally having to run like full force for this hog and after the dogs to keep up, and I'm like, everything's going through my mind, like, what if this goes wrong? I hope I do this right. Where am I going to stab it? What am I, what am I going to do? And then when we get there, it was like everything happened all at once. And Megan grabbed the back legs, and I ran in, and I just stabbed it. It was like, that was it. It was all over within like seconds, but it was like the biggest rush ever.
That's cool. So, you got a big old knife, right? Because you want to get pretty deep, right? So you got a good big knife, right? And do you straddle it, or do you just go in for the dive? What's the strategy of stabbing a hog?
You go in like at it sideways, like kind of like a dive, I guess you would say. It's like the blade on it was pretty long. It was actually a company called Anglesey out of North Georgia who made the knives. And after I stabbed this hog, they made a Brittney Glaze series of knives the next year. So that was pretty cool.
So you're in the midst of archery hunting. So you have some tags for archery?
I plan on hunting more in Kentucky, and here. And then I'm going to Missouri on a girls hunting trip the second week of October for archery. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm trying to get a bear here, and it is like impossible because our North Georgia bear, they'll like come out every day during the day for season, but when season comes in, they disappear.
How do they know? Right? How do they know?
I don't know. It's like they have a calendar and they're like, oh yeah, tomorrow. I can't go outside.
Yeah. I want to go find this. I want to go find this calendar in the woods where there's a bear nail scratched 4 times with a line through it. And they've got this figured out, right? How often that this, the cycle.
I did see a bear for the first time at my friend's place. I was telling you, this is my 3rd season hunting up there trying to get a bear. And I finally saw one the other day while I was hunting, and he was like, they love eating little piglets, like from the wild hogs that we have running around. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what it was chasing, because I'm, sitting in a stand, right? The river's behind me, and in front of me is a field where they've been coming, and the acorns had just started falling. So they've been coming down there and climbing up the tree and breaking branches to eat them. Well, right behind me, I had like this pie plate hole. Like that was it that I could see of the field behind me. So I'd occasionally look just to see, because there was turkeys out there earlier. And I'm like seeing nothing all afternoon, just sweating. And I'm like,
sitting and sweating.
Starting to get darker, and I have about 30 minutes left of daylight. And I just so happened to turn and look out that little hole behind me, and I see this huge bear like running full force, like how kind of like the big apes like run like full force, whatever. And I'm like,
he was just getting it, huh?
And it was one of those moments where I was like, did I just see that, or was I just wanting to see that? Like, I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure I just saw that. So I got ready, grabbed my bow, thinking that it was going to cross the river, because it was like coming diagonally, but I saw it about 100 yards away, and I'm like, well, it was running pretty fast. So if it's going to come, I'm going to hear it cross the river. And a few minutes later, heard something right behind me in the water, and I'm like,
coming.
Oh gosh. Like, freaking out. And so I have my bow in my hand, I'm ready, and I look down, and something brushes up against my ladder stand, and it's black. So when I see black, I just stand up. So I just assumed it was the bear. Well, I get stood up, and it walks out in front of me, and it's a big boar. It's a wild hog. And I was like, whatever, I'll shoot you too.
Right.
So I
So
shot him, and I was so upset because I shot him, and he went down, not even 10 feet from where I shot him. And he was down for about, 20, 30 seconds. And I'm like trying to get another arrow knocked in case there's more hogs or the bear comes. And he stands up and runs off and makes circles in the bean field and falls again. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe you're good now. And then
right.
he gets up again and runs off, and we lost him in the bean field. The beans are like up to my chest, and I can't see anything in there. And we looked for him and couldn't find him. But the bears are so bad about like eating them that we're trying to save it until the next morning to see if we could go out and find him in the field with daylight. And I mean, there was blood, but there was no pig. So I don't know if a bear got up and ran off again. Those things are pretty tough.
Yeah, they are tough. And what's your favorite thing to hunt?
That's so hard. People ask me that. I like everything for different reasons. Like,
Okay, okay. So this will answer this. Maybe this will answer your question. Maybe this hasn't been put to you this way. What's your favorite wild game to eat?
to eat. Well, see, that's not fair either because I love elk meat, and I haven't been able to hunt an elk yet. So that's my bucket list. But stuff that I've actually hunted, it would be deer, definitely. I use deer meat every day when I'm cooking. So
What's your favorite recipe to use for venison if you're trying to convert someone over who's never had it?
well, there's a couple. There's one that I use a tenderloin, and I bake it in the oven really, really low. But my friend told me how to do it, and just cook it for a couple of hours, and it's like falling apart, like so
Okay,
tender.
okay, back up. So what do you season it with? And then do
Not
you
much.
wrap it or do you not wrap it? And what temperature are we talking about for 2 hours? Give us the recipe.
So around 200 degrees, sometimes even a little less if I have time. I'll do it around 180, and you just put olive oil, salt, and pepper, and
Okay.
that's it. And you
Nice.
put it in a pan, and I've tried it with the foil on it and foil off, and it cooks pretty much the same.
Okay.
And then I put it in there for, depending on what temperature. If it's at 180, it's like an hour and a half. If it's at 200, probably about hour to an hour and 15 minutes, and it should be done.
Okay.
And you check the temperature of the meat, make sure it's correct, and that's it.
How do you like your meat? Medium rare, medium, well done?
I like my deer to be pretty well. I know, but that's me.
Okay. That's fine. No, that's fine.
My steaks, I'll eat medium.
Okay.
But like my mom, she likes everything to be like burnt. She wants it all burnt. And so she doesn't eat steak. She eats like hamburger meat and stuff like that. So how I converted her was I just put ground deer in, I think it was chili or something like that, and didn't tell her. And like,
Yeah.
she's like, oh, good. And I'm like, well, you just tried deer meat. So now she had kind of freaked out on me a little bit, but now she'll eat it because we've had burgers and things like that with it now. And so she's like, okay, I guess there's not that big of a difference.
Yeah. That's cool. My wife is a well doner. She likes everything well done too. Yeah, but she doesn't eat any of our wild game though. She grew up on a bunch of it and she's like over it. I'm done.
Yeah.
So, but that I don't understand the whole well done thing. Like, yeah, all the deer, elk, everything I cook. The only thing I cook well done is bear. But other than that, and even then, the bear, like we make hams out of it, or I make brats or breakfast sausage. So most all that stuff you're cooking well done anyway. And of course the ham, the hams, we're brining them for a week at a time, and so you can.
That's awesome.
They're good.
I like bear. We actually, when I just took Delaney a couple of weeks ago on a bear hunt, and she got one, and we were actually able to eat the tenderloin over the fire, and a guy had like seasoned it and all that stuff for us in camp, and we had it over the fire, and that was her first time eating it, and it was really good.
Yeah.
I liked it that way.
There was a video of Steven Ranella and Joe Rogan when they killed a bear and they ate a bunch of bear on a campfire, and Steven ate it medium rare, and he ended up getting trick, got really sick. I think that was like 3 years ago or something like that. So yeah, ever since then I kind of learned that no, if you're gonna eat bear over the fire, you better cook it all the way. And even Joe Rogan was like, I ain't eating that medium rare. You're crazy. He's like, Steve Reynolds eating it, like, yeah, and whatever. And so it was funny because he got sick and Rogan didn't, and Rogan gave him a hard time for a while over that deal. It was pretty funny. So you wanna hunt an elk, and you haven't got to do that yet. So where's that on the radar?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out where I can go, I guess, over the counter, where would be best, because y'all's like draw out there is like years for most places. So
Colorado has an over the counter elk tag archery. And they have an over the counter second season and third season rifle.
I'll have to look into that because I'm also broke, so it's hard for me to
Yeah,
live
it
out.
isn't cheap. I don't remember what it costs. I want to say it's like $350, but
For the tag.
but I'm not sure.
Well, some of them, I know, I think it was, I want to say Montana or somewhere. A friend of mine went last year and it was like $800 for the tag.
Yeah, and it might be $450. I don't know. I thought $350, $450, something like that. But anyway, you have an open invitation if you'd like to come to Southwest Colorado and go elk hunting. If you can afford the tag and you can get here, we got a camper. You can bring some friends, do whatever. We can help you out with some of the expenses here on the ground, and definitely point you in some right directions and help you out. So if it crosses your path and you'd like to come out here with your model hunt crew and do something like that maybe next year, please don't hesitate to ask, and we can try to work out the finer details and maybe make that happen for you. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So,
thank you.
So now I don't think a lot of this, how much of a part does Andrew, your boyfriend, play as a role in what you do?
What I do, like...
Well, just all that you're involved in.
Well, I mean, he's teaching me a lot as far as, because I've never had my own land. I'm always having to rely on these outfitters or friends who have land, and pretty much trust them to tell me where the deer are and what they're doing.
Right.
I've always wanted to have like my own piece of property and watch the deer grow, and like have one that I'm following for a few years. And so Andrew's teaching me all of that, and it is like I'm like a sponge. I'm like, I want to learn more and more, like, and then because I'm like, I want to learn how to do everything so I can do it by myself.
Right.
Yeah, like yesterday he was showing me how to use like quarter up the meat and how to bag it, or how he does it. Everybody does it a little different, but he's trying to help me cut off the fat of the meat, or he'll try to help me, pick up the corn and stuff like that. And I'm like, I got it. And he's like, I'm just trying to help. I'm like, I know. So funny. But he's taught me so much just within the last, I don't know, we started dating in February after NWTF, but I've actually known him for 3 or 4 years. We were trying to figure that out. I can't remember if it was 3 or 4, but we actually met in Illinois on a hunt, and I was out there with Destination Whitetail, and he was just a paid hunter in the outfitter there, and just kept in touch through social media. We were both actually dating other people at the time when we met, but I mean, I followed his Instagram stories because it was very like interesting to learn, see all the stuff he plants and all the deer that he grows, and So I just kept in touch and always saw each other once a year at NWTF, or if I was ever hunting in Kentucky, I'd go say hey. And it's just kind of cool how it all came together. But he's a huge influence on me right now because he's teaching me so much on that side of it, because I've never had that. And
Right.
hope one day we'll have our own property. But he's given me like a sliver of where he's at now, to where I can kind of do whatever I want with it. So like I get
Yeah,
to take
that's cool.
taught me and go out there and set up cameras and put out mineral and things like that.
Work through
It's
the
pretty.
program and try to do some of it. That's pretty cool. He seems like he just has a ton of love and support for you. And
Uh,
we're talking about Andrew Clifton. You can follow him
yeah,
at Whitetail 4020 on Instagram, and it seems like you guys have a pretty cool connection. That's awesome.
yeah. He's very, very smart. He went to school to be wildlife biologist, so like he knows all the technical names for like the different kinds of grass and beans and
Plants
stuff.
and trees and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He'll be
I've got
talking.
a nephew.
I'm like, it's grass. Yeah, it's grass. Got it.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I got a nephew that I would go hunting with, and it's the same thing. You'd be like, "Oh, this is this, and this is that, and they like this because of this," and, that, and I'm just like, "Dude,
Yeah.
not gonna retain any of this." So I appreciate it, but I'll never remember. So you know,
I feel the same way. It's so funny because like I'll do that same motion. I'm like, you're just kind of, it's way over my head right now. Got where you're at.
maybe
Like,
I'm thinking a she hunt in Colorado
that'd be
for
awesome.
elk
Yeah.
would be really cool.
Yeah. Get all the
Yeah.
girls together and go out there.
Yeah, I think you need to talk to the producer. I think you need to you need to sweet talk him into floating your cash flow to come out here next year and do that. That'd be a good time.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It'd be really
Talk.
fun. Well, I tell you, your passion from being from a little kid to now is amazing, and what you're doing for you know for kids with cancer, and what you're doing, and how unselfish you are, and you can tell that your love for the things that you care about isn't to self fulfill yourself. It isn't to make money. It's not to make fame. It's not to make anything other than smiles on their faces, smiles on your face, and just giving passionately, and I think that's pretty neat. Um, what where do you see your future from here with what you've embarked upon thus far? Do you have any bigger dreams? Do you have anything else above and beyond that, or maybe the same things but just in a bigger picture?
Um, ask myself this question every day. Like, what do you want to do when you grow up? I, I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm like in the midst of trying to figure it out. I definitely want to work with kids, whether they be sick or not sick. Right now, hunting is unfortunately, like the sales of licenses are going down, and the kids are more caught up in their social media instead of being
Hmm.
out in nature. So my thing is I want to be involved with more kids or women and introduce people who don't necessarily hunt or wouldn't know how to go about it, introduce more of the younger generation to hunting and get them more outdoors. Because literally, like, our future of hunting is going to die if we don't introduce it to some of these younger kids. So I want to do something along those lines, of course. And I can't figure out if I want to do like an outfitting business. Like with me and Andrew, I think we would be a great team doing that because he's great at managing land and managing
Hmm.
deer and farming. And I'm good at hospitality and I can guide and all that. You know, we would be a
Right.
good team, something like that. And we've discussed that before. don't know where we would want to go or anything. But with the cancer kits that I do now, I mean, like I told you before, like if I could do that every day, I would, but I have to be
Right.
able to pay my bills somehow. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do as a career, but still be able to do everything that I love and that I'm passionate for. So I want to stay within the hunting industry. I don't necessarily want to be in front of the camera or be a celebrity per se.
Okay.
That's not really something that I crave or want. Like, people call me a celebrity now, and I'm like, not really. But I guess to some I am. But that's not what I do this for.
Right.
I could care less about how many followers I have. I mean, I'm very thankful for my fans, but
Right. Of
don't
course.
take
Yeah.
that
That.
but
Yeah.
like
That goes without
that's
saying.
not at the end of the day. I'm not worried if I have, you know, somebody who unfollows me or anything like that. But there's so much that's going on in my mind of what I want to do that you have to have money and you have to have land and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I have to start somewhere. I would love to be a guide or a host at an outfitter if I can't do my own one day. I think that would be a lot of fun because that way I would be able to not only hunt myself but be able to take others hunting, and that'll give me another opportunity to invite people in who have never been and introduce them to the world of hunting and fishing. So that's
So
I
you're
don't know
so
if it makes sense, but like
well.
my
Okay. So let
what
me
I
ask.
wanted.
Let me ask you a couple specific questions. So I'm 46. You're 28. So
Mhm.
what is you're closer to that? You're closer to the gap of generation that's not disconnecting and getting into the wilderness. What are your ideas? Do you have any? I mean, of how to break that and get kids disconnected? Do you have do you have ideas?
Um, it's hard. I mean, there's ideas out there that I've discussed with other people. It's kind of like setting up different kind of camps, whether it be like a summer camp or a church camp, or
Mm-hmm.
getting more, if at all possible, in some of these schools, like getting, I guess, I don't know if it would be considered a sport, but like getting archery or shotgun or things like that where they can learn more for the outdoors in their schools. Because where I grew up, we didn't have that, but
Right.
where I go in some places, they do. And I thought that was the coolest thing because if I would have learned archery when I was in like fifth grade, that'd have been awesome. It
Absolutely.
it would give me a reason to want to go to school more, I think. And
Right.
and I'm also learning and wanting to be outside more as well. Um, it's hard because you know how crazy this world is these days, and with you having kids, I'm sure you know that you're nervous to send your kid off to camp, and you don't know who these people are and who they're going to be spending their week with. So it's hard to talk people into doing that, and that's kind of like where we're stuck with hunting for the cure because it's all word of mouth, and we spread it through social media and talking to people about it. Um,
Right.
and when we have new people come in, they don't know what to expect, but most of the
Right.
time people come in and they love it, and that's what I want is to have a camp or a weekend getaway place where like kids or parents sometimes who have never been hunting and they want to learn because their kid all of a sudden wants to know how to hunt and they don't know how to teach them, have meetings or camps for them too. Like, I don't know. There's
Well, let
ideas
me. I
around, but
got. I got something for you. So,
okay.
along those lines, do you know Erin Crooks? Have you heard of her? She's doing a program called Raise 'em Outdoors,
I haven't heard.
and we had her on the podcast not too long ago. I pulled up her Instagram message. So it's a nonprofit organization passing on this tradition of fishing, hunting, and conservation, hosting free kids camps, collecting new and used outdoor gear for kids in need at Aaron Crooks. So you can send her your old fishing poles, your old this, your that, whatever you're not using to her, and she finds ways to get it to these kids. And she's trying to pull inner city kids into her programs. And she did a camp this last year, and she's looking to do about 5 more camps this next year. She's trying to do some other stuff. She's an amazing woman. Maybe it's a possibility that you all need to get connected a little bit, because I think that her vision and the moral foundation of what she's trying to accomplish fits exactly what you're thinking about doing. And sometimes I think that the industry gets so broad that everybody's trying to do their own thing, but yet if some collectively get together, they could make a bigger impact and a stronger foundation across the nation, working together. And I think that maybe you should check her out. Maybe get in touch with her and see what you think. But I think that your She Hunt organization, along with what she's doing, might be an amazing connection.
Okay. Where is
especially,
she
at? Where is it? Hold on. Let's see. Trying to remember. She's in Florida.
Okay.
But she did her camp. She did her first camp in Oregon, and she's looking at doing having one there, and then she's got a big ranch in Montana that she's going to be doing one at next year. One in Florida. I think she said Texas. But we're going to be working with her next year on that, and basically going to 1 or 2 of those camps and doing some podcasting from those camps with her next year.
Cool.
So it'd be super special. And it's a pretty neat gig. So anyway, check it out. Not to take anything away from your,
Not at all. I'm all about
gig, but
everyone helping each other instead of trying to separate, like you said, and doing that thing. I just recently joined American Daughters Conservation. It's all women's. It's ADC. I don't know if you've seen them or followed them, but it's just a bunch of women who get together for conservation, and we're trying to build branches in each state as well. Right. And I think it's great because it's a huge variety of women who, like me, who have been hunting for a few years, and there's women who have been hunting their whole lives, or there's women who just want to learn how to hunt who have never been hunting. Right. But we're all conservation and teaching each other new things.
So I gotta ask you a question that I try to ask everybody before we end the podcast.
Okay.
Where is your favorite place in the wilderness?
Favorite place in the wilderness?
Yeah, pick one. You have to pick one. Your one spot where you're the most connected to the wilderness. Where is that spot?
Does it have to be in the middle of the woods? Because
anywhere.
My favorite places, my lake house in North Georgia on our back porch that faces the lake. Uh-huh. My grandfather built it, and that is where I go out, and my granny sits there every day, but we'll drink coffee and sit there and not talk to each other for an hour, but we feel the most connected there. You don't even have to say anything, but you just feel at ease. You're not stressed out. You're not thinking about life and what all's going on. You're at peace. And I don't know how to explain it, but that is my favorite place to be. It's right there.
And what does the wilderness mean to you as a young lady and who's grown up in it and fished it, hunted it, hiked it, camped it, sat on the porch of it? What does the wilderness mean to you?
It means so many things, because just sitting out there, it makes me slow down and look at everything at a different perspective, and it just makes me very thankful and for everything that I do have, and I like to watch Mother Nature out there just growing on its own, and don't know how to put it into words, but like when you're out there and you're listening to the birds and you're watching the sunset and it all comes together, and I guess that's where my faith comes in, because it's just crazy to see what all God has given us to enjoy and to get to watch every day. And there's so many days that we take it for granted because we're so busy worried about our work schedule or this or that. And like, that is the one place where I can sit on the porch or even in a deer stand when I'm watching the sunset go down and listening to all the animals going to bed and feeling the air, cooling down and everything taking its place for that night. It's just an amazing feeling knowing that I can sit there and enjoy it and be at peace with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just like, there's no words for it.
That's awesome. No, that's a good answer. Thank you very much for that answer. It's awesome. So what, are you involved with anything organizational wise or anything like that helps give back to the wilderness that you feel strongly about?
I am part of QDMA, and I'm signed up with NWTF every year, and so I'm really big into those, and Ducks Unlimited as well. And with ADC now, we're going to be doing our own projects and things for conservation in different states too. So I try to do as much as I can. Like I said, I'm broke, so I can't always give money, but I can always give my time and help people and help with things like that.
That's putting your feet to your faith, and that's the most important part. Now I gotta put a little pressure on you real quick. Why are you not a part of Pope and Young if you're an archer?
I don't know that I know about that one. Is it kind of like NWTF and stuff? Because I have.
Yeah. So basically, Pope and Young is a national organization surrounding archery. So they support ethical fair chase, the conservation. They believe in promoting the heritage of the sport, and they're a lot more than just a membership. They're a collective, the largest in North America for bow hunting, and it's something that I would encourage you to be a part of.
Okay.
Because without Pope and Young, we wouldn't have archery seasons as we know it. They were the beginning of it all. Mm-hmm. And I think most importantly, I think that the best part about belonging to Pope and Young is the heritage and the ethics that they pass down, right? I mean, they teach the heritage of archery, where it came from, how it's evolved, and plus their ethics of continued fair chase and your ability to, give that animal its opportunity to win at the chess game just as much as you have the opportunity as well. So it's just a cool organization. I thought I'd throw it out there. I mean, you're a part of a lot of cool stuff, and everything you're doing is supporting hunting in the future as we know it, and that's important. And of course,
I've heard of Pope and Young, but I didn't know that it was actually an organization like for that. So that's kind of cool. I need to look into it more.
And I'll just tell you, you as a role model and what you're doing for ladies around the nation, around the world, what you guys are doing through She Outdoors and is great. But I think that your model hunter stuff is far and above exceeds what you're doing with that. I think that's where your passion is, and that's where your heart is, and I think you're an exceptional young lady, and I really, really appreciate you being on the podcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Excellent. Well, you have yourself a great day.
Thank you. You too.
All right. What a great show. Appreciate you guys tuning in and listening. If you guys got any questions, comments, concerns, good, bad, or ugly, please go to wildernessattitude.com and drop me a message there. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you later.